whatever. We know things, we know more modern things than old things, both because Chaos wasn't around,
I
but
just got
also
here,
because
man.
it's been a minute.
I just got here.
You just got here. I could not imagine.
Sing to me, Talia, muse of comedy, of the duos of smiles, and the sharpened wings they hide behind their backs. Sing of the trades and the deals they've made along the way. Welcome to FanDive. My name is Chaos.
Hello, I'm Andy.
And today we are talking about ConVex / ConCorp / Scar and Cub as Vexes.
We're talking about Scar and Cub's shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
Specifically the Vex variety. But, there's some give here to our topic.
Yeah, so there's a lot to cover, and also we're kind of going to stick to none of it. But just to set our basis, the con group, the duo, came about season 5, I think it was.
Yes,
and it
season
was
5, yes.
Yeah, and it was like Cub and Scar, and they put on Vex heads, and they were like temporarily possessed by Vexes, and they were running around doing shenanigans.
They pranked every single person on the server except like one.
Very efficient shenanigans.
They conquered that season. They went, I'm the Vex, I'm tricky and silly and evil. We are going to cause mischief across the server. Congrats. Evil.
Evil and funny Vexes. Now, season 6, we leaned a little bit away from the pranks. I mean, we still had them. They were Vexes, of course. But, we started seeing a bit of Scar and Cub going, wait a minute, there's a business opportunity to be had. And that is the most dangerous thing to say when Scar is around.
And so the ConVex, which they are Vex, and that was a joke, because haha, ConVex, turned into the ConCorp, the corporation. And they made so many shops, actually. Those two are terrifyingly efficient together.
Again, the Vex's efficient shenanigans, they were everywhere. And then season 8 was the last time you really, not season 8, what am I saying? Season 7. Season 7 was the last time you really saw those two do a group thing together with Vexes involved, because season 8 we had Bodum appear, and while Scar and Cub were fairly close to each other, you didn't have the same dynamic.
Which is sad, because those two get together and they are efficient and terrifying.
Yeah, but they had done 3 of the longest seasons in Hermitcraft history, up until that point. Together as a group, as a unit, I can kind of see why they're like, okay, we're going to take a break for this shorter season.
Yeah, I can see why they decided not to have the same 2 people for every single season, but still, they're an iconic duo. I was going to say group, but there's 2 of them.
There's 2 of them. I mean, False was considered a potential Vex for a while, I think. I don't think anything actually went through with it, but if anyone was to join the Vex duo, it would be False Symmetry.
Sure. I know nothing about that. Now, know that I don't remember a whole lot from those seasons, but I did see some things. I just remember, I think it was after the Civil War that they did, making, a golf course, a country club. I think it was. I think the Convex ended up making a country club to retire in after the Civil War happened. And just, I remember the tennis courts. Weird memory to keep out of all of them, but I'm gonna keep
out of all of them, and the way they built giant evil factories with villagers wandering free throughout, and the way they took over the server. No. You remember their retirement plan.
Yeah, wow, they've done so much. Ooh, look, a tennis court.
A tennis court? Yes, so the ConVex, ConCorp, I guess it was ConCorp at that time. The building that they put together as their evil factory has very much been referenced in so many fan fictions. It's that and Area 77. Pre-season 8, if you wanted a villain setting, it was related to Scar and Cub.
Now, this is something that when it was happening was not a big thing. But then people looked back at it and decided, no, we should pay attention to this more. just specifically, there was in an episode, I don't remember what exact one, but Cub was joking about walking into one of their bases that has a Vex built out Vex skull. He's walking into it, and does this count as cannibalism? And in that conversation, Scar was like, yeah, through my knowledge, yeah, we eat people. It's not on camera, but we eat people.
Yeah, ever wonder where the NHO went? Scar literally said that, and Cub was like, no, we did it, and Scar's like, yeah, we did. So it's implied that, like, not only do they, like, oh, haha, it's like Vex cannibalism. No, it's like hermits.
Implied. No. Quote, yeah, we eat people.
Yeah. And so,
Implied, you say. It's implied.
Well, it's like, oh, we eat people. Like, you can say, oh, yeah, that's villagers. But no, they literally call out the NHO.
Yeah, they do. It's also funny to me to watch back in that scene specifically, because you have Cub doing the no, I mean, do we? This, maybe we don't canonize this idea. And Scar just goes, no, commit. And then Cub, being the yes and man that he is, went, okay. Yes, that's canon.
It's very interesting the way you can. Someone pointed this out to me, and I can't unhear it now. But like, Cub repeats himself. He repeats himself a lot, especially when he's like trying to doubt something or trying to like play up something like he's lying. And the way it's like, no, we didn't. Did we? We didn't. Like the way specifically that scene was phrased was very much giving like, does Cub have an inkling that he knows?
Or is it him deciding if he wanted to commit to this?
Does he want to commit to this?
To be fair, Cub is one of the most commit to the bit men ever. It's not a convex shenanigan, but the commitment level for people who know more modern Hermitcraft things. Do you remember in the Empire's crossover how Cub laid like a few million skull catalysts?
Yeah.
And covered the server in skull. Like, and that level of shenanigans and commitment.
And Pix had to go around saying, I'll office my service of telling you where all of the skull catalysts are, because there was just so many put about. And like, oh, we love Cub. Cub cannot go a season without getting possessed by something. And for 3 seasons, it was the Vexes. And then it kind of became the Skulk. And like, this guy is never alone in his brain.
He loves a possession arc for some reason.
Possession arc.
He also loves just like the corporate creepy voice. Just like, yes, well, welcome to this thing. It gets brought up more often than you'd think.
Cub, I feel like this is worth bringing up. Cub, like IRL, the content creator, has a background in space nonsense. Like, he's a published person about space. Don't look it up, that's weird, right? But you think, like, through that logic of, like, he would be very exposed to corporates, and he would be very exposed to how to manipulate people to get funding to do studies. Because I don't know if you know how, like, science studies work. You have to beg and plea and put everything on the line to get funding to do research.
Yeah.
And so, like, I feel like a lot of, like, what you would naturally be exposed to through all of that and Scar's exposure through the U.S. healthcare system combined to make this very, like, cynical, evil, vague corporation in the background that these two are very familiar with the feeling of playing up.
So I know we did an episode a while ago now on, like, the hybrid species.
Yes.
But in fandom space, you will still see so much Vex things surrounding those two. And I will admit, when the Allays came into Minecraft, it threw things for a loop. But
everyone's
you see a lot of...
Are they an Allay now? No! They're still Vexes. No. Just because the Vexes lost their smile does not mean that they've lost the Scar and the Cub.
Man, it hits different when they have that creepy smile on their
It does.
skin.
The
That's
old
what I do.
texture of the Vexes, that's really what brought around people wanting to wear Vex heads. Like, that was...
Because it looks mischievous.
It's the mischief, it's the smile, it's the creep factor, and it's all of that. It's like, this is the face of shenanigans.
Yeah. Well, for green, it's a...
Well, for
chicken.
green, it's a
Well,
cod and chicken head, but that's a different conversation.
For a lot of people, it's a mischievous face. It's this creepy guy with a big smile. Don't look at beat-ups. That's not creepy. There's a difference.
Don't look at Bubbles. He's fine. He's
Actually,
called Bubbles.
no, he is creepy. No, now that I think about it, he's a little creepy.
Now that you spend more than 2 seconds thinking about it, don't think about Joe Hills then. Don't do it. You're thinking about him.
Convex.
Convex, right? And so we have a lot of people saying, oh, this is why Cub and Scar are Vex hybrids. It's because of the convex. However, ever since they kind of left the convex behind, people start bringing in new hybrid traits. Specifically for Scar, you see a lot of new hybrid traits leading into Scar. But Cub is more often than not still a Vex. Unless he's being possessed by Skulk. That's a different conversation.
Well, yeah. You do get Warden every once in a while for him because of the Skulk. But Scar has played specifically like Wood Elf since then. He has specifically played other species, where Cub is always getting possessed by other things.
Well, so you bring up that moment of like the Wood Elf, and that was what, season 9 starter base? In that starter base, Cub was like, I don't want to build a starter base. Scar, can I sleep in your basement? Like, even in seasons where they're not actively like doing duo content together, they're still stuck together.
They do. It makes me so sad when people don't like realize it. Because even in the background, those two are always somehow paired together.
They're somehow together.
Who is sending me screenshots? Anyway.
I'm not.
Sorry.
Who's sending you screenshots?
A quote that just says, I have pneumonia. Says a robot.
All right, I'm going to talk, while you're confused by pneumonia, I'm going to talk about just different AUs of how the convex came about and how we see them in modern day. So, like, I've seen a lot of fan fiction of, like, where do Scar and Cub come from? And if they're doing convex, then more often than not, it's some sort of play on Woodland Mansion. You find these people in Woodland Mansions. That's where the Vexes are. That's where the Evokers are. And sometimes I do see, like, well, Scar's the Vex and Cub's the Evoker, but if you're doing convex, it's gotta be both of them, right?
Yeah, both of them being Vex just makes more sense. Because they've both said they are the Vex.
They're the Vex brothers. They're the convex. They're the what's that one fan fiction I'm blanking on the name of? It's where they're like called friends of the Vexes. That's cool. I like them, but they have to be together when they're doing it. Oh, wait, you brought up Allays earlier. What about the one like implied in Minecraft Vexes are corrupted Allays due to mischief of the Evokers? Do you like the idea of like that's where Scar and Cub came from? It's like they were Allays, then corrupted, became Vexes, and then through Vex magic look vaguely human-ish, while kind of technically.
Okay, so I only had about half that sentence, and I think it has to do with I think you were asking my favorite origin story of theirs. Say yes?
So yes, what is yours?
I enjoy the idea of hermits joining Hermitcraft through accidental or strange magical means. So one of the favorite I've seen is that they were part of a woodland mansion and then suddenly gained sentience, saw shiny things over there and went, ooh, gonna steal it. In the society that was the hermits that had shiny things, so it was like, oh, 2 new members, let's go.
And they showed up and we can't get rid of them now.
Exactly. And so I think there's at least a couple stories that have that concept. There's one that I remember that was just, yeah, they're here now. And Exuma talking with the hermits, just like hanging out, and then sees 2 new members, and it's like, who are you? How did you join? And they go, your guess is as good as mine.
We're here now. I don't know where we were before. I don't know where we're going next, but right now, my butt's in the seat.
We're here now. Yeah. So just gained sentience and are like, we're here now. Let's go. We're here. There is good angst for possession, but who needs it when you have shenanigans?
Who needs it? Wait a minute. The first season Scar joined. Was that the first season Cub joined, or was Cub before Scar?
Okay, so I know people are going to think of a different series, but I don't have another name to call it at the moment. Scar joined with the Kingdom people?
Yeah, the Mesa edition.
Yeah, so he joined with, like, Wells Knight, and I think it was with Cub, though I will have to double check. Scar described it as he did sneak in. It's just like, I'm also here.
You can't stop me.
Yeah. All of those people joined at once. I will double check that information for you, actually.
Yeah, I wish there was more content around the idea of, like, Vexes from the Woodland Mansion somehow end up in the Mesa biome, because it's like those are very different aesthetic places to be, of like dense, wooded, constantly under leaf cover versus like Badlands where it's terracotta under your feet, sun above your head. That is it. And I think like, oh, there could be some like angsty potential there. And I haven't seen it. But you know, when people start talking about the Vex, they either go like current situation of Vex in a company setting or old situation of Vexes in a Woodland Mansion setting.
I'm gonna just concur. Yeah. Cub did join at the same time as Scar, as well as like Rendog and Wells.
All right, it was the Mesa update.
Yeah, I believe, though I'm not certain on this, but I'm going to go with it anyway. I think during the Imp and Skiz podcast, Scar mentioned they did it and were considering another seed, but Scar was like, "Yeah, but it's a challenge. It's a challenge because it looks horrible. Not the mycelium."
Scar really wanted the Badlands, which I respect because I love the Badlands. And then it was the whole like moving into the next few seasons of like, oh, you can do a mycelium, but there's potential in the biome rather than the blocks of the biome itself.
So I think even during his first season, he was, we can make something.
We can make something out of this.
Having influence on the group itself. And those two came together. So I have to imagine, I did not watch them before they joined Hermitcraft, so I'm just picturing things there. I have to imagine they knew and were friends before.
I don't
know. They joined and immediately
Cub's
started making this shift.
Pre-Hermitcraft era, actually.
Hmm?
I don't know Cub's pre-Hermitcraft era. I just realized, like, to me, Cub has always been Hermitcraft, but what was he doing before that?
Kingdom Craft, obviously.
I don't know enough about Kingdom Craft here. Let me do a quick Cub fan 135 Minecraft Kingdom Craft. Well, damn, that's what he was doing. I should go watch that.
I mean, you can. It's a bit old at this point.
Shh, it's only like 8 years old. It's fine. God, his old Minecraft skin, the like old scientist man. Dude, fun fact, when like the hermits first met up with each other, they did not believe Cub wasn't the old scientist man of his Minecraft skin. I'm like, what do you mean you're young? Why do you have hair?
Oh my gosh, when he switched skins.
Yeah.
When he switched skins from this old man to just like a black-haired guy in a suit. Like, what? What?
I mean,
he was like the pharaoh, and then he turned into just a corporate man.
Yeah, he went old scientist man to briefly the pharaoh, though I do think that was like the season 7 build aesthetic. And then he went back to the old man for season 8, and then he just like reversed aged to like having like dark black hair again. Because I honestly think it's the same lab coat skin that he has.
I don't know, not off the top of my head. I thought they were different, but I don't know. I guess the pharaoh is the one that's stuck in my head, so...
Yeah, sorry. No, the pharaoh is the one most people think of, because that was season 7.
He made a pyramid.
He made a giant
It's cool.
pyramid, and it was full of mini games, and then he was also secretly a Vex, but don't worry about it.
Don't worry about the shenanigans that only impact you and your entire family and the world itself. I want it back. I don't care if it's like in a big thing, but let me have more content with the Vex boys.
There's this joke of like, oh, who should join the life series? And it's always like you throw out joke answers. But like, if Cub fan were to join the life series, immediately we would be getting Vex content again. There was like no way we would avoid it.
Hear me out. I think a Big B and Cub fan.
Those
two
up. Would decimate. Wait, no,
I don't think they'd win. I think they'd confuse everyone.
I didn't say they'd decimate the life system. They would decimate people's minds. I think Cub fan was in season 4, actually. Was that? No, that was the Mesa update. Never mind. Ignore me.
It wasn't that when they, whatever. We know things. We know more modern things than old things, both because Chaos wasn't around.
I wasn't. I
just got here, because it's been a minute.
I just got here.
You just got here. Elle could not imagine. I love seeing it nowadays. I love seeing it because it is old enough at this point that not everybody is familiar with those two being a pair. If you partake in fandom space, woo, we said the word, you've probably seen it, but if you're just a new fan in general, you're not going to get it nearly as much. And so when I see it brought into fan art, fan fiction nowadays, it makes me happy because it's one of those things that was so much fun back when it was happening that even just like adding Vex wings to a fan art, it brings me joy, and it's a remembered and it's a fond memory of people that we're still referencing to this day.
Yeah, and like all the TCG cards, like Cub is constantly being drawn with Vex wings on his like alternate art that he did for like the ones that you would get signed slabs or whatever had Vex wings. His alter ego card has Vex wings. Like all of these like different fairly official versions of Cub fan has Vex wings. So he still clearly holds it to his heart.
Yeah, and I do too.
And I do too. This is less about Scar and more about go watch Cub fan. I promise you he's good.
Oh, hey, we gave Scar portion.
We gave Scars.
Talking about both of them. That's the whole thing. It's the two of them are cool. And they're even cooler together.
They're even cooler together. Dude, wait, MCC? Oh.
Have they not been together in MCC?
They feel like... Have they?
Should have.
They should have. Okay, we need a Cub, we need a Scar, we need a False, and let's throw in a JoJo Solus, and that will be our new Vex. That will be our new Vex Corp. All right, we should move on to the Q&A before we go over again.
Okay. Well, we can do what we want. Somebody once said that we should make videos long. I don't know.
Question number 1. If you could add a new member to Hermitcraft, what would it be? This is a question I've been consistently answering on my TikTok. So, Andy, you gotta go first.
I don't know. Because to me, I enjoy being a fan of something more than I enjoy... Well, I wouldn't say that for everything. But for, like, Hermitcraft, I enjoy sitting back and watching what they'll do. And not necessarily always predicting what it is. If it could be anyone, it'd give me snifferish. But realistically, don't know. I want to find out. Give Joel his wife back, I guess.
Yeah, the criteria, air quotes criteria, of like, oh, who should I think could potentially join Hermitcraft? It's like PG, Minecraft, YouTuber, who posts often enough that we can call them a content creator, friends of hermits, right? Those are like the roughly 5 criteria. And I love Lizzie to pieces. Lizzie has said that she is semi-retired from being a content creator and is really only doing things that spark her interest now. And like respect, but also, Lizzie, please come and do cool things with your husband.
I don't know. I think we got plenty of Lizzie references in Joel's base. Have you seen his base?
And I think that's why we need to bring her on, because like...
He has a temple to her.
He's going insane. But if I was like to meet my own criteria that I've made up, it would be Ollie the Orion Sound, Jimmy Solidarity Gamings, or Martin in the Littlewood. Those are the three I think are most likely. You said no to one of them? No?
No.
No.
Martin turned that down.
Yes, Martin has in the past said he would say no. However, let him just be whitelisted and be the special events hermit. Like, just he can be
He's already done that.
Yeah, just make it official, and he can show up once in a blue moon to bother Ren and Doc, and he doesn't even have to build a base. He's just like occasionally online, you know? Let him be.
So, realistically, don't know. That's up to them. I'm not part of the group.
Realistically, I'm zero saying it. However, pretty.
If it was anyone, Snipperish would be pretty cool. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I want Ollie the Orion Sound to hang out with Joe Hills more often.
No, because Ollie... Well, like, yes, I do want to see more Ollie and Joe Hills. But, like, Ollie doesn't post that frequently either.
Yeah, and, like, that's what everyone's saying. Anytime I bring it up, I'm like, oh, you can't say Ollie, he would never post. I'm like, some hermits post less than 10 episodes a season. It's okay.
It's true. But that's also an argument for Lizzie of why Lizzie could absolutely join and just be having fun.
Yeah, if we discount Lizzie, we have to discount Ollie, and I think both would make great additions. So like, maybe just add them both. Maybe just add them both.
But I also see the merit in having friends to the hermits that aren't hermits.
Yeah, that's also true. Like, oh, if we could add Shovel would be amazing on the server.
Shovel would be a lot of fun. That would be fun.
I think most likely it's going to be Jimmy. However, I wouldn't be mad if it was, if we just get any new additions, that would be great. That would be great.
Yeah, but again, there's been multiple seasons. Well, I don't know about multiple. There's been at least one season where we didn't add anybody.
Yeah, so
Next season, we already have so many people on the server.
People get added when other people leave. So like season 5, someone left. Season 6, Green joined. Season 7, someone left. So season 8, someone joined. Right? We have like people leave, people show up. The balance of how many hermits are on the server does tend to stay fairly even. I mean, I'm just saying, we have an opening. Just get someone to like fill it before the end of the season.
We had whatever. We had more people than we typically did at the start of the season. Beside the point.
Beside the point. All right, question number 2. If you could bring back one series that got canceled, what?
Crazycraft.
Crazycraft? Oh, so you didn't even let me finish the question. Yeah, bringing back one series that got canceled, you say Crazycraft?
Yeah. Do it. Give me.
The freaking Afterlife, not Afterlife, the one that like kept breaking that SMP, I would really want that to be back. Like, I don't...
The Origins?
Maybe. It's the one where Joel had like a red panda best friend.
Oh. I don't know what that one was
It had
called.
a create mod in it. Like, the issue with create mod is that it breaks servers very, very aggressively so. So, like, if we could just fix... We don't need to talk about that. If we could just fix the create mod, I would love to bring that back.
No, Crazycraft.
Crazycraft, yeah.
It's one of the first series that I actually watched as a series. And it lasted some... That's when I got introduced to Ollie Orion Sound.
All right, question number 3. Your favorite classical children's book?
Okay, so I was a Winnie the Pooh child.
I was going to say Winnie the Pooh too. I have so many different versions of the Winnie the Pooh books. Literally, like, absolutely one of my favorites.
I will say one of my favorite books when I was younger. Though I had many, because I loved my books. I had so many favorite books. But there was one that got more popular recently and got, like, rebranded. And I was almost angry that it got rebranded, of Vampirina Ballerina. Love the book.
See, I didn't read this growing up, but I had to do the play version of it, and that's Little Prince. And oh my god, reading the original short story It's so good. It's so good. And it's so sad too for being like not even 100 pages.
Two that were childhood stories that I read as books, but I also watched as musicals later on, was Tuck Everlasting and Matilda.
Oh, Matilda. I need to rewatch that movie.
Good.
That's a good movie.
You should. You should. Which one? Which version?
I didn't know there was more than one version. The one I grew up with?
The old version? Okay, the old version. There's a new version?
The one that I think somehow involved Danny DeVito?
I don't know, it's been a while.
DeVito.
You should watch the new version of Matilda. It's really good. It's really good.
There was a period of time where like there was this booktuber who I absolutely loved, and she was obsessed with Alice in Wonderland, and so I started buying like cool Alice in Wonderland covers because I'm like, oh, that cover that she owns is really pretty. And then I'm like, I read it, like every time I would get a new version of the book, I would reread that version of the book. And after a while, I'm like, I mean, they're really cute covers, but I don't think I care enough to keep buying more copies. Winnie the Pooh, however, anytime I get a new version, I'm sitting down reading that. I love that one.
It's a good book. It's a good guy.
It's a good guy. And there's so many different stories you can get. So, like, if you get a new version, it's not guaranteed it's going to be the one you read last time.
Exactly. But there's also, like, one that I remember where it taught me how to make paper cranes and stuff. And, like, the whole book is this child making paper animals.
Cute. Let's see. Well, if we're just doing, like, stuff that we read, Percy Jackson, Magnus Chase. Oh my god, Magnus Chase.
Valid.
I like Magnus Chase. That's a good one.
Yeah, I didn't read Percy Jackson. I did read mythical stories, Greek mythical stories, though. And yeah, I never got Percy Jackson.
I didn't read them until like high school and college age. And like, I love Percy Jackson. I do not the best written. Read Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard. That's a better one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not going to read either. I'm just going to continue getting it through word of mouth.
I'm insulted.
I know too many of the original tales. I have too much of an attachment.
What is Magnus Chase?
It's the John Constantine of it all.
Andy, the main character has two adopted dads who totally aren't gay for each other, except kind of they are. And then like his best friend is like a Muslim Valkyrie, and then like the love of his life / his soulmate is a gender fluid child of Loki, who because they're already dead and in Valhalla will cut off his head on occasion. Andy, you need to read this. Andy.
I have stories like Andy me on.
Andy.
In my head.
Andy, it's my final words of this podcast. Read the book.
I'm not gonna be able to differentiate real.
Read them. All right, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of FanDive. We'll be back again next Monday diving into yet another fandom. Have a topic or question for the podcast? Head over to our website, fandive.tumblr.com. There you can also find any episode relevant images and general shenanigans that we get up to. It is Tumblr, after all. We're not afraid of being fans of things.